Welcome back to Good Morning Europe. The tech giant Apple is launching a legal challenge against the European Commission order to pay 13 billion euros in back taxes. The landmark case is set to test the legal strength of the EU's crackdown on tax avoidance by multinational companies. Apple is expected to send a 6-man delegation to mount its fight in a 2-day hearing at the EU's second highest court. Well, for more on this, we're joined from the heart of Silicon Valley by Patrick Magee, the San Francisco correspondent at the Financial Times, who joins me live now. Thank you for your time. Apple have accused Brussels of mumbo jumbo. Clearly, this is a very big tax bill that's been handed to them, and they're not taking it lying down. What's their strategy to kind of claw this back?
The competing narratives between these two are really quite different. So, the allegations go back to 2013. And as I say, they're just really very different. The European Commission claims that Apple was paying a percentage of taxes on profit well below 1%. Apple maintains that it was paying the 12.5% corporate rate. And the ruling is sort of ironic for Ireland, should it go in Ireland's favor, in which it's not actually asking for back taxes from Apple, but should the European Commission win and Ireland lose, then Ireland would gain 14 billion or so euros from Apple as back taxes.
And what do you think the most likely outcome is?
Oh gosh, yeah, way above my pay grade. Only some judges are going to come to that decision. I think what's crucial to know is that we're not actually going to get a decision this week. So the battle is sort of re-emerging in Luxembourg on Tuesday and Wednesday. But the expectation is that we will not have a ruling until the end of next year. And then after that, it's probably likely to be appealed by whatever losing side there is. And that could go on for another 3 or 4 years. So Rosie, you might have to have me back in 2023.
It's not just Europe where big tech giants are being accused of not paying enough tax. What might the wider implications of this case be?
Extending beyond Europe, I'm not exactly sure, I have to say. But the implications really do go beyond this, because if Apple and other tech giants' tax allocations are questioned and they're found to be wanting at the highest level in Europe, and in this case, the second highest level of Europe, then of course every other country in Europe could decide that they want to take a look at how this was done. So it may actually be that Ireland doesn't end up receiving the full 14 billion. Instead, other nations around Europe are questioning how the tax was allocated, and they might be sort of fighting amongst themselves for a piece of that pie.
What about the kind of ongoing tussle between the White House and Europe in terms of how these big giants are taxed?
Right. So that's another implication. Of course, Washington has accused Europe of anti-American bias. I think that's only extended with the Trump administration. Europe does have this issue where they don't have very many big tech giants themselves, right? Their biggest tech company is SAP with a market cap of around $160 billion. That really doesn't even get into the top tier of US companies. And so Washington sort of views Europe as having a certain inferiority complex, and they're sort of trying to get profits back from these tech giants through legal means that they don't consider all that valid.
Thank you ever so much for talking to us. Patrick Magee, the San Francisco correspondent at the Financial Times.